everyone. In this video, we'll be creating a mobile app similar to what we did last time. If you remember, we created last time this application using JavaScript. We can enter some data, and then it will draw a chart, and also it will calculate those basic mathematical things, finding the minimum, the maximum, the total, mean, and standard deviation. Surprisingly, we'll create the same one using the same code we created in our JavaScript. So JavaScript, last time we did this. Here is our code. We had just HTML page, very simple one. Then we had a JavaScript code where we had all those functions we created using arrays and whatever. And we have CSS. Now, same code we will be using with just slight modification, and it will convert it to mobile app that work on any mobile. We can install it on iPhone, Android. You can submit it to all those different apps, center stores, or whatever you call it. We'll call our app math. I just clicked on create a new app, math. I'll just use the basic jQuery, and it will do the job beautifully. Now it will just go and load stuff for us. You remember last time we had our HTML, and we had those different components. There we have input box, we have a place for putting the data, and a place for putting this stat or statistical information. So the same thing will create, go to pages, screen, start screen. That's the basic screen will start. Here we can call this math. We're just changing the caption, and I'll put an input box. If you remember, in our HTML, we did call it NUM. So let's call it here NUM, the same thing, so we can become consistent, and the code will work with minimum changes. I will add a button here. Leave the button whatever it is. We'll add the text. The text, we had data as our text, and we'll leave it empty, nothing in the data, so it's start empty. This one I'll also leave it empty. I can see here enter a number. That's it. So that the data, I need a place for the result, another label here, and we'll call it stat, which we call it stat, and the stat will again will have nothing in that one. So that's basically what it is. Now, I should, when I click on this button, which we can give it a name, add data, it will add the data to the array. So what we need to use our JavaScript. So I go here and say create new JavaScript, and I'll call it whatever you call it, doesn't make difference. I'll call it LSM1103, and then it will be created. Now I go here to my JavaScript and copy the whole thing, and come back here and paste it again. I could have uploaded it if I need, but that's what I did. Now here you can, you notice that the semicolon is must, so you'll have a semicolon here. I need a semicolon here as well, because that's the object, that's it all. Now the difference between this one and mine, if you remember, I used ID. If you go back to JavaScript, we use ID. We use get element by ID to get the data. Here I'm using the name. So the slight change, I can say here get elements, because it's an array, and we use name. The rest are the same. And here I can say get elements by name. But one thing we need to remember, the names usually an array. So we want to take the first element of that array, because I don't have that many components with the name num. There's only one. So that way we will put 0 there. So it's an array. So we're taking the element 0, Just remind me if I forget this one. I don't know how you will, but I need you to help. We'll find it if we make a mistake. So name is wrong. Yeah. Name. Thank you for those who reminding me. 0, and then last one we have here. This one will not run now because we still don't have the library that will call for us the graph, but let's get it ready and later we can add the library, and it should work beautifully with no problem. Okay, so we made sure we added. We have one more place which here, but that one will leave it because actually here we will use the actual ID because I will create this one myself later. Did I miss anything else? Nothing seems. Please stay on the page. Then I go here and I need to call the main function. Our main function which we deal with is add number. So this is the function we need. So I go here, click on this one, and I have some events here. So if I click there and say on click, then do the JavaScript, and here I basically call the main function. We should be ready to go now. Let's see. We just run it and it will run beautifully here. So I can test it on my phone. I'll show you now straight. I can get it working on my phone. First time it does that, it will usually take more because it will combine all the source and do something. Now we'll enter the first data. So came. Now enter the second data. Came, but then no chart is coming as you can see. And we will fix the chart just now. So everything is working perfect. Now if you want to do the CSS for this, and again we can do the same thing. If we want to come here, if it's not safe. Oh, sorry. No, please save it. Why it's not safe? Okay. If I want to use the same CSS, the challenge with my CSS, I'm always using here the ID for data, the ID for stat. Now here or not, we're going to use the ID. So for the data, for example, I will use a class. I can create a class called data. It's the same for the results. For the stat, I'll create one called stat. Okay. Now what we will come here, we'll create a CSS and call it any name, doesn't matter. I'll come here and copy those related to stat, and I know I have these buyers in the middle, but I'll get rid of them. So I go there and put this one here and remove those people. And because I'm using class, as you know, in CSS, and my student will know that if it's a class, you start by having a dot here. So it's dot something, okay? And then it should work. Now there's a warning about the borders and the padding because some confusion, but they will not make any difference in that case. So if we come back to our CSS, are we using the right name? Do data, some data. Okay. So now we can test it, and you will be noticing the changes that are going on. Now my important task now, the next one, is just showing you how to do the graph. And the graph is more, you can see the color came as we have it there, and it's a little bit bigger than what I want, but that's where it is. Yeah, so it became similar to what we have there. Okay, so let's go back. Just one thing, I don't like this stat the way it's coming. I want to play with it later. It's just let me ignore it now and leave just the data there. Now what we want to do, we want to create the graph. Remember last time we used a library from chart.js. I can do the same, but what I'll do, I have a great website here, which I'm sure you know it. This live with editor. Through that one, I can just get the URL that will take me to the library. Instead of downloading it, loading it, and uploading it, I'll just use the live one. Yeah. So I already added this here. Here is the link. So I'll copy this link. Just copy and come here, and let's add that library. So JavaScript, we're adding. We will take it from a URL. Let's call it chart. Just not get confused. And what is the URL? This is the URL. Oh, it's not coming complete URL for a reason. But here it is. This is the complete. So I'll add it there. Now it will be added. So now it's added. Now it's added. Where is it? Here it is. It just took some time. Now you'll see there are some semicolons are missing. My computer is getting a little bit slow. I don't know what's happening because it's doing processing it. But there are a few things. A semicolon here need to be added. And then, is there any semicolon needed there? Seems nothing. Seems working perfect. Now let's go back to our form. Again, if you remember in our HTML, we have this area we put there, which we have created for putting the graph. What I'll be doing here now is just creating that area. So let me add HTML box here, put it here. This is the HTML. We'll keep it, we'll put this 150, the height, so it comes a little bit bigger chart. I'll go into the HTML and the source code and basically paste that line. Now again, align this together, so this has to be 250 and this has to be 150. So the chart will come in the right size. Now we have it here. It's there. And what else are we missing? Okay, so I think we're not missing anything because all the code we need is already here, which draw the chart, which we did last time, one by one, all of us. So you need to do it again, and the same ID and everything are here. Let's give it a try. So I'm a little bit going fast because I would expect you already know those things from my previous video, and you can go back to that video. You will see how we created all those different components. So we'll say 66, and the chart came here beautifully. And 90, yeah, I can see some of you will say, oh, the window is not really fitting exactly the same thing. I will fit it now. No worries. But you can see that it's not a big thing. The same JavaScript you created, you can use it here and create your app. And then you can play with this and make it looks like in a grid format. It looks very nice, which easy to do in Appery if you want to do that. So let's go back and fix this one. I think one thing we can do, we can get rid of this one here. Maybe also we can organize those data to come in. But importantly, before we're doing that, I just want to show you how you can test it on your phone. And you can live test it. So I go back here and come back to test and say public. Now once I say public, anyone scan this one should be able to run that app directly on his or her phone. Also, we can export it like iOS or Android and then add it to the App Store. But it's the same thing. If you run it there, and then you can just scan that, and you should be able to get it working on your phone. You get the same thing. You can do the same thing. Okay, one thing I can add as enhancement, I think the rest of those small things, for example, is organizing this data to come the data to come in a better way instead of taking too much space. All this you can do. If you remember in my HTML version, I used some new break line. So I'll do it, just remove those new break line to make more space, or I can create a grid as you know, you can have a grid. I'll show you how to add the grid if you want. In fact, I'll do that to just get you to see how it works, but not maybe for this one. I just need to have a space here so they don't come attached to each other. And then you play just with the space, and people who watching this video, I trust they will know those simple things. My focus was in how to get your JavaScript code that you created for a web page to work on ApperyIO. And that was the focus. I think we've done that, but there's few more enhancements again we can do. You notice on the graph comes like a bar graph, how I can allow the user to select between bar chart and a line chart. Yeah, see now you have more space because it's done that. Okay, also we can get rid of the of this footer here if we don't need it. I'm running it on a phone 320 420. You can test all the different sizes you want. You also have the options to go without a frame, which look like a web page, which in fact you can make it a web page by adding all the other components you need. Yeah. See, it comes like a web page. Yes, it looks a big thing, but if you use grid and other things, you can manage your page and divide it into header, footer, sections, aside, all the different things we do in HTML5. And that's again just by creating one app. You get Windows app for Windows Phone, you get for Android, you get for iOS, and all the different tools. One just quick one I'll add here, which I'm sure you will love it. If I want the user to select between those different type of chart, I can add a select here, and this select I can change this one. I'll put line, and the value should be line, and label is bar, and the value will be bar. I don't need this one. Save it. See now, when the user click on this one, it does draw the chart or rechange the chart. So I'll click here and say on change. I'll go to the JavaScript and I'll call my function. Yeah, draw chart. I think it's draw chart. We'll go and check it. Draw chart. Yeah, semicolon. And then we'll save it. That's before we do anything. Let's look at that function. We have draw chart. I wrote it the right way. Now here I have to say what chart to draw based on the user input. So let's say we'll create something called X, for example. We'll take the data from that select button. So what name did we give to select button first? Go back here. And that select component. Select component, we'll call it select1, just to simplify thing. And I go back to my JavaScript, and as we said, we will where is that draw chart? Here it is. So we create something called X equal document get elements. Don't forget the S. By is our case B by name, and then open bracket and close bracket. This is select one, okay, and I'll close it, dot value. So now basically I took the data from that one. Now if x equal line, if the value coming from that one is line, remember we added value line, yeah, then it will do line. I'll change that, yeah, and another one, if x equal bar, it will do the bar, which will be this one. I think a bit minus alt copy, we'll fix it now. A few things I need to fix. So that's equal, that's it. So if this is bar, will stay bar. If this is line, just this one will change to become line. So that's a very basic code. Just we took the data from select one. Just I need to make sure select one s is lowercase. I'll go and look at it, and then the rest should be fine. So did we call it select? Yes, it looks the same. It should come back to the same place. But anyway, let's run it now, and we are done. The rest I'll leave it to you to play with it. You can do all the CSS which we have done in the past, and make sure your page looks beautiful. You can change the header and footers and other things. And the only thing is the chart will come down now because it didn't work. There's something wrong with our command. Let's go back. Yes, I know what it is. We said this is an array, so this is the 0. I said you reminded me, we are not using ID, we're using name, and your name is array. You didn't remind me. Oh, I'm not happy now. Okay, that's fine. Next time, do please. Okay. Now it should work. Inshallah, it should work. And if we do the right thing, yes, it is there. So what 99 there, and notice if you go here from this to bar, the bar comes in, and then now important in mobile, you fit your screen properly, so you do some arrangement. Again, every time I want to stop this video, I never stop. I'll show you I can make more space using the grid. So that's one thing we said we would like to do, but we didn't do. So there is a grid here. Where are you, grid? Here is the grid. Let's put it up there. Okay, we'll make it only one row. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll take this input box, put it inside. I'll add this one and put it there. So I made more space. And also what I can do, I can move this footer and remove it. I don't need a footer. Okay, it's not needed for this one. Now, same thing. So you can, the idea of using the grid, it makes you create a more space and organize your data properly. It's like the table, but it's more better designed. So see, coming now 99 there. So it keep adding those. So this thing we know from the previous video that we have done together. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you will watch more of my